How many of you know that if 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people witness the same event, they're going to report it out in 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different ways? If we were to watch something happen and go away from this place, you would all have your version of the story. And if you were to investigate that story and you put them all together, eventually you get to about where the events are. Because you would tell parts of the story that were important to you. And someone else would tell another part that was important to them. And someone else would say something that meant something to them. I've been listening to people talk about some things. And it's amazing to me through this week when people talk about some of the services, the different things that they picked up on. And I was like, oh, we did that. It's just the way it is sometimes. And when we read the accounts through the 4 Gospels of what took place, you know, it starts with one says while it was still dark, the other says as the sun was rising, one says while it was still dusk. And when you get to that time in the morning, which I only do once a year, you missed it if you were here. Once a year I'm willing to get up early. And it was this morning. And then it's spent, so don't expect me to be up early again until a year from now. Or whenever Easter is next year. But in that, you know, the story is true. And we have to decide which version of the story. How do you put it all together? Well, when you start to read it, you realize that there are things that are always consistent. The women go to the tomb, the stones roll away, and Jesus is arisen, and the angels speak, and Jesus appears to the ladies first and shares with them the wonderful resurrection. All of that took place. But doesn't that sound much more like Disney than our daily experience? What makes this story, what makes how it's put in here true versus Disney? You see, when the soldiers went, they reported to the priests, this is what took place. It always amazes me, first of all, why there were soldiers there. Why were there guards there? Well, because the priests understood the scriptures, and the priests had heard what the disciples missed. The priests had heard Jesus say, I will rise again. They understood that. It amazes me that the disciples who lived with Jesus, traveled with him for around 3 years of their lives, didn't understand it. And the reason they didn't was because they were so full of grief. They had placed all their hopes, all their trust in this man that they had left their families for. They had left their careers for. They had followed him. They had sold out to be his followers. And it was over. But the priests understood the Old Testament scriptures. They understood what the prophets had said about the one who would be God's chosen. They had heard Jesus exclaim that he would rise again. And they were just a hair nervous. Because if it really happened, and they were the ones who were responsible to put the chosen one to death, how would you feel? So they posted the guards. Not only did they post their guards, but when you read the account, they had gone to Pilate, and Pilate said, you put your guards there. You have guards that guard the temple, put your guards there, and they did. But then Pilate also placed Roman guards there, who were at the time the best of the best. It would be like going to the Navy SEALs and saying, we're going to have you guard this tomb. And so when the tomb was empty and the stone was rolled away, and you read that an earthquake had come, and the guards fell back like dead men, and they witnessed the empty tomb. They go back to the priest and they say, problem. Now, how'd you like to be the one making the report? Here it is. He's not there. He's risen. And the priests then say, we can't have this story circulating. If this story circulates, the priests understood they would lose all control. They would lose their position. They would lose all that they were and all the things they had built up. Their entire sense of security was wrapped up in who they were as priests in the synagogue, priests in the temple. And so they said, here's what you're going to do. We're going to pay you off, and here's the story. You're going to say that while you were sleeping, his disciples came and stole him. And don't worry, because if it gets back to the governor, it gets back to Pilate, we'll satisfy him and keep you out of trouble. See, there's some problems with the story. First problem is Roman soldiers would not have fallen asleep on the job. Roman soldiers were put to death if they were to lose the person they were guarding. This was their lives at risk. It was a problem. Another problem in the story. If you were a priest in that day, because people will ask me, all right, how do you believe this? You go see Beauty and the Beast in the theater, and you go see The Passion of Christ. How do you know which one's the true story and which one's not? You know? Why can't we? It's fanciful. Think of this. If you ever wondered about the resurrection, all the priests and the leaders of the day had to do would be to search, find the body of Christ, parade it into the street, and say, there he is. End the story. But if you read not only the scriptures, but if you read the historians of the day, there was no search. There was no attempt to find the body. The only thing that was happening was the story was circulating. And so now you have two stories. You have the story of the disciples saying, we've seen a risen Savior. You have the story of the women who said, we saw him. And you have the story of the priest saying, he was stolen. But it wouldn't have taken much to find him. And yet there was no investigation. There was no looking for this body. The priest understood it would have been in vain. Why waste their time? We'll just circulate the story. Our story sounds better than their story. Our story is more believable than someone rising from the dead. And it is. So which story's fact? And which story's fiction? See, it comes down to that we have to accept the story that we're going to believe by faith. We have to come to the place where we will recognize only by what we believe in our hearts and what we've seen in our lives happen because of the grace and the power of Christ, to be able to share that story. But here's another reason the story makes sense to me, other than it makes for good Sunday morning stuff, good hymns, good songs. Out of the 11 disciples that were left at the resurrection that saw Jesus face to face, 10 of them were put to death. One of them was exiled onto a rocky island so that he could die there. And out of the 11, not one of them said, no, it really didn't happen. I don't know about you, but I don't think I would put my life on the line for a lie, for something I knew was not true. I would not be willing to die a painful death just to keep it going. So which story are you going to believe this morning? You see, there's the story of this Christ who rose again. And because he rose again, he brought with him power and authority. He brought with him the ability to change our lives. He brought with him the ability to transform us, to fill us. and to empower us to live beyond ourselves. He brought with him the ability that we can have full forgiveness, be totally whole in Christ. He brought with him the ability for us to walk hand in hand with our Heavenly Father, the Creator of the universe. He brought with him the ability and the power when he came out of that grave that we might have fullness of life. Or the disciples stole his body, made up this great story, and tried to push it off on others. And only the stupid, the ignorant, the foolish would believe it. Kind of like believing that there was this magic rose. And if the beast gets love first, before the rose totally dies, he gets transformed, and all of his castle is enchanted. It's kind of the same story, right? The difference is the story of the cross and the story of the grave and the story of the resurrection is fact. It's true. There's solid evidence. Which do you believe? We gather today to celebrate and to sing and to express our sense of joy in the resurrection of Christ. Because in him we can be whole and complete. In him we can be transformed. In him we have life. It's the life that he brings to us. Christ has come so that you may live. We mentioned this morning, for those that were there, that we asked for more proof. God orchestrated it all since the beginning of time. How many of you have seen things springing out of the ground, fresh and new? You see, in New York anyways, and most places, in the fall, all things die. And they lay dormant until in spring, it all comes back to life. God worked it into his creation to declare the magic of that drama, to declare the wonder, that's the word I want, the wonder of new life and resurrection that he offers to you and to me. That's why we celebrate. Because the power of the grave has no more power on us. The power of sin has no more power on you. The power of Satan has no more power. You've been freed. The stone is rolled away. The cold, dark grave has no grip on you. That's why we gather and sing. That's why we come together today. That's why we celebrate. Or you can believe that the guards fell asleep. The disciples came and whisked away his body. By the way, the same disciples that were hiding because they were afraid that they were next. Where were the disciples? Where were the men, gentlemen? Where were the men when the women went to the tomb? They were hiding. They were behind locked doors. They weren't brave enough. They weren't brave enough. Think they would have been brave enough to go against the soldiers standing guard? Not the group of guys I read about. Each Sunday we gather to celebrate a living Savior. We stand when we sing because we declare in the position of standing that we also are risen with Christ. Now all four Gospels have one more part of it that they all agree on. And that is this. At the end of the resurrection story, every one of them say now, go tell. Go tell his disciples. Go tell them what's coming. Go tell them that he's going to meet them. You know, you have the privilege because you know the risen Savior that you can go tell others that that Savior who rose from the dead is going to meet the person you see. That's a wonderful part of the news. The other good part of it, if you read all four descriptions, the angels say this, and this is just extra by the way. It's not in the notes, but it just dawned on me when I was reading them again today. All four say, now, tell the disciples to go to Galilee, and he'll meet them there. If you read the rest of the story, if you read what happens after he met the women in the morning, you'll find that that evening, the disciples are all gathered in an upper room behind locked doors. They didn't follow the directions. You know what I think is great about this? Jesus showed up anyways. Well, sometimes God's pretty clear with me and says, I want you to do this, and I kind of, I don't follow directions. And the great news, Jesus will show up anyways. It's not dependent on our faithfulness. And that's awesome. Jesus didn't go to Galilee and say, well, since you guys didn't come, you missed it. He met them where they were. So today, this Easter Sunday, would you go tell someone that we serve a risen Savior? Lord Jesus, we thank you for your grace.